That's actually how I got from my car this morning
dragging you
into the network. You've reached the weekend, so have we. Hello, Elle and Matt here on quarterback day at the NFL Combine. We are going to head to Indy to talk quarterbacks. It's SEC Statement Day in college basketball, and now the Bulls and Hawks might still be playing.
Of Tuesday's loss. We are now live in Houston with our coach, Seth Greenberg. I do want to start there. We'll get to Houston in just a minute, but I want to talk about Duke. They've lost 2 of their last 3 without Zion. You're a coach. How are you looking at how the players are responding in his absence? Turn 2, because we mentioned at Miami, despite the fact they're having a bit of an off year, prideful team, and seem to get the better of a Coach K team. Let's talk about the team that you're there to cover today for College Game Day, Houston. I mentioned it off the top. They're 27-1, but it seems like nobody really knows much about Houston, despite the fact they've got the best record in D1. What else should we know about them, Coach?
Sleeper.
We actually don't know right now, Coach, who has the potential, or the most potential, at least you'll tell us that, to win the SEC, because we've got a tie. Tennessee, Kentucky, they'll play each other today. LSU's up there as well. Who of those 3 teams, though, in your mind, is the most dangerous?
LSU is going to win the
huge college slate, huge College Game Day coming to us from Houston, 11 a.m. right here on ESPN. We'll check back in with your colleagues in a little bit. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to SportsCenter. During Antonio Brown's rapid rise to becoming the top receiver in the NFL, his relationship with the Pittsburgh Steelers appeared solid. That appearance changed recently, with Brown's season ending as a healthy inactive before demanding a trade in a season the Steelers missed the playoffs.
However, playing devil's advocate, sometimes to understand where a person is at, you have to understand where they have been. So that is exactly what NFL reporter Jeff Darlington did, following AB back to where it all started in this week's SportsCenter Featured. Jay Williams here to break down why exactly the cookies are. I'm just kidding. We're not going to have you break down any cookies.
He's not a player, but he crushes a lot of cookies.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you just go big pun on? Okay, all right. Well, we've been doing a lot of puns on this show.
There, but it took you a while to get it. Okay, anyway.
No, I got it. I had to take a minute. I was like, is that Fat Joe or Big Pun? Jay, we saw the cookie effect. That's a bit of a joke. What actually makes this Houston squad so good?
Well, I think it's a factor.
A lot of people on the national level will be introduced to them today. That tip, 4 o'clock on ESPN. But we have a really big game in Knoxville as well. Tennessee and Kentucky. It's big in part because the SEC right now has a 3-way tie atop it, including those 2 teams in LSU. Of the 3, who do you think is the most dangerous? More than a Boricua? We thank you, and we will see you College Game Day. I got you back finally.
Thank you. Finally, you came around. Thank you.
I had full buy-in. 11 hours of energy from the sun. That's what you're saying.
I would love to see your Google search history just from this program today.
We've learned a lot today. We have been debating for the last 2 hours if irregardless is a word. I say no, it is not a word. He says that it is a word.
We are going home, but irregardless, SportsCenter continues with Nicole Briscoe and Jay Harris. They'll take you live to the NFL Combine. It is quarterback day.
Yeah.
That program also on ABC, 1 o'clock, good Combine coverage.
Yeah, we had a fun time, but their show will be funner. And it is coming right now.
Hey, you know what? It's time for yams.
No, stop with yams. Myself, Elle Duncan, and Matt Berry. John Bones Jones making really easy work in the octagon last night. We'll also show you, Matt, why if you've never attempted the worm, you shouldn't do it in an octagon.
Worming's a bad idea.
It's bad.
LeBron to do with being able to read the promo than it does just knowing our programming on Sundays.
I'm like, what does that say?
Hey, Bryce Harper on the field for the first time as a member of the Phillies. Yeah, they're going to have that over on ESPN with Randy and Jay.
Okay, so make sure to tune in and check them out.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Batting practice.
Can't wait to see it.
UFC. They're basically just going to review the show we did for 3 hours.
You're welcome.
But on ESPN.
With our scripts.
Yep.
Sounded like it. I'm Elle Duncan. That is Matt Berry. We're always having fun. Listen, all eyes on Tobacco Road. Why Duke and North Carolina about a lot more than bragging rights. We got the Game Day crew checking in live.
Yeah, last night was a battle for the top seed of the Western.
We can actually all get behind. Scoop Jackson explains. Greenberg joining us now from UNC. And I just kind of showed that, Coach. Duke had absolutely no answers for Luke May in that first game. What do they need to do, and who specifically needs to step up for Duke in this one?
I think for Luke May.
And obviously, again, in talking about that game, no word on if Zion Williamson is going to play. We will be joined by Jay Williams. I'll get his opinion on whether he should. After Duke UNC, we actually have a really good game between a pair of top 10 teams on ESPN as well. Michigan State. As you know, Coach, whoever wins that game gets at least a share of the Big Ten title because Purdue is in the mix as well. So out of those 3 teams, who do you think is in command? Controversy tends to kind of galvanize players, as you just said. We will see Coach coming up 11 a.m. Eastern College Saturday morning. We do have a huge rivalry game, UNC and Duke. No one knows if Zion's going to play. I'm going to ask someone who has played in this rivalry whether he should, just for the experience of it all.
Oh, that's a good tease. Last night, battle for the top spot.
What?
Just soak it in.
Oh,
Can you
that's
tell
a good
that-
sound.
Can you
Elle.
tell
That's a
this dude
good
played
sound.
at Duke? Can you tell?
It makes me feel like I'm at home, you know? It's
They
good.
love you. They love you very well. In fact, we're going to get to that in just a second. But after Zion went down, it was a lot of a next man up mentality. Okay, so we're still waiting 17 days later. Who on Duke specifically would you like to see some more consistency from? Of that game with North Carolina tried to adjust. It was just they ran out of time at that point. But again, we're talking about Zion. And again, we don't know if he's going to play or not. And a lot of advice for Zion to just shut it down and whatever. But as someone who has played in this rivalry, as evident by the crowd behind you, will he have really gotten the full Duke effect if he never actually participated in this rivalry game?
No.
Folks at Dean Dome, though, if you're able to complete the season sweep of Duke for the first time in almost 10 years, is there an asterisk if Zion does your antics? I alone love you.
You know what I can tell you based on the schedule of sports we have today? I'm just going to be a black hole sun watching all of the sports. That is Elle. I am Matt. Jay and Tony coming up next on a busy Saturday in sports.
You're welcome, America.
You got to keep us separated. And with that, happy NFL Sunday.
Apparently.
NFL they got that news cycle going. Coming up on Saturday that decided a lot in college basketball. Elle Duncan and Matt Berry alongside. We will get to the hoops in a minute, but we begin Pittsburgh, Oakland, major news.
Exactly. We are going to talk with Ryan Clark about whether his former team got the better end of this deal, but the deal did happen despite the...
Center Antonio Brown is entering the black hole. The star receiver coming to a contract agreement late last night with the Raiders, who will send a third and fifth round pick back to the Steelers. In exchange, John Gruden, well, he has a star for his offense.
And during Brown's rise to stardom, his relationship always appeared to be solid with the Steelers. That's, of course, up until the final weeks of the season. So 2 weeks ago, Brown sat down with our Jeff Darlington to discuss how his past has shaped his present in this SportsCenter featured.
Such is life when breaking news happens.
That was the first victim of the Antonio Brown trade. As we welcome you in on what is now an NFL Sunday, Matt Berry and Elle Duncan. And again, we had a lot going on in college basketball. We'll get to that in just a minute. This is the biggest news of the day.
We've been sitting on this since Friday. We thought something might happen, but the Raiders finally got the player that everybody been talking top play from Saturday.
Pretty good.
Hey, coming up next, Serie A soccer over on ESPN. More on the breaking news of Antonio Brown.
Yes, in case you haven't heard, he is now a Raider. You'll hear it again. Go to ESPN. Took 2 L's yesterday, Kyrie Irving alluding to that. Welcome to SportsCenter on your Friday with myself, Elle Duncan, and Matt Berry. It's the return of the king, the college king, if you will.
The college king was back. I mean, look, he's been out the last 6 games. It didn't matter because we knew when Zion would come back, it'd be something to see for Duke. And he was perfect last night, literally. And
Matt Berry, yesterday, Tiger Woods came through dripping. And because he is not Cardi B, that's actually a terrible thing. We'll show you what he's done that he hasn't in 20 years in just a minute.
I don't know what that means, so we're going to get to college basketball. Welcome back to SportsCenter. The Good Friday Agreement in 1998 brought a decades-long conflict in Northern Ireland to a peaceful resolution. But the echoes of what they called the Troubles still haunt the country. Enter Michael Conlon, Northern Ireland's best ever male amateur fighter.
Now a professional ready to make his third St. Patrick's Day appearance at Madison Square Garden. The pride of Belfast incites more than just dreams of a belt. As Mark Kriegel reports in this SportsCenter featured, Conlon also represents the hope of a nation. Dan, let's just assume here that the committee is watching our show right now. I want you to tell him of the bubble teams who you think is the most deserving of a tournament bid.
Well, it just is going to depend on what the committee is looking for. They introduced something called the net. The net is the new RPI. Everybody's familiar with the RPI. The difference, one of the differences, real shot.
They will certainly see. That's the best part, is that we're just like a few hours away, right, from no more speculation and seeing if this new rating system here at 4.
7 to 10 a.m.
Some of us will be here at 4.
Some of us leave an hour early for makeup. Is there anything else by the way, any pharmacist out there today, if she's trying to come get stuff that's over the counter?
I'm all set. I don't need penicillin. Been married for years. I'm all set in that department. We've got more SportsCenter coming right now. Did you hear? Zion was back.
Interesting.
And look what happened.
Jay and Tony. And with that, good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope your green beer and eggs are great. I hope your pencil is ready because the bracket will be complete today. We'll visit the NBA's biggest game in just a minute.
Yes, but they're probably, Matt, still singing Danny Boy at Shooters in Durham. The return of the king would not be complete.
To St. Patty's Day thing.
I guess what everybody else's is, right? Little Baileys in your coffee. Yeah, what about yours?
Good cover for not knowing the answer. Sirius coming up next.
What's yours?
Vegas.
That's not even that's not a St. Patty's
on
Day
ESPN.
thing. What?
Next, so I did a little research. The Briscoe firm of research and statistics. That's a terrible name.
Kind of.
Anyway, James Harden scored 19 points in 2 NCAA tournament games.
Okay, he had more than that in the first quarter last night. In fact, it was significant personally as well. We're going to go do our... So Grayson Boucher is best known as the Professor. It's a nickname that was earned when he was discovered during a 2003 and 1 mixtape tour stop in his native Oregon. The MC that day dubbed him the Professor because he was schooling people with his handles.
Okay, so today you're going to go to school. SE Featured presents Crossover 101 with the Professor. Class is officially in session.
Are you watching, thinking...
Do you know him as the Professor?
Yeah, no, I actually knew him as a Global Hooper.
You did not. You lie.
It's true, it's in the tag.
That's apparently his second alias. But no, I didn't know him as that either.
Yeah. Global Hooper just sounds...
Pick it, go with the Professor.
Professor it is.
On vacation in an attempt to wake him up. Question, is it early enough?
He's coming from Vegas, so he probably never went to sleep.
That's my point.
He never went to bed.
Good
Guaranteed.
FaceTime.
He's
All
probably
right.
at Hyde right now watching us.
SportsCenter continues. It's Hannah Storm. It's Jay Harris. They've got you the rest of the way. Bye.
So,
What's wrong? Why?
All set there. You know, Matt, while none of you are perfect, you are smart, you are kind, and you are important. Am I missing any other affirmations?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, then you are also watching SportsCenter with Matt Barry and Elle Duncan.
So we'll get to all the college basketball in a minute, but first in the NBA, Golden State in a back and forth with the Nuggets for the top seed out west. Steph Curry got the night off, and the Warriors got to be alive out of the Sweet 16.
Any bold predictions for today's action?
I'm with Jay Billis, who was talking about earlier, where there's just a lot of chalk we saw yesterday.
Okay.
Typically, look, you're going to have a 12 or a 13 advance in UC, Irvine, and Oregon, so you're going to get an underdog there. But for the most part, I like a lot of the chalk today.
Over, under, amount of time Zion dunks on Taco, 3.
Under.
You're going to take the under.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't think
I'll
he's
take
going to
the
get.
over.
I'm going to go with Coach in that one. I don't think they run.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we think. Hannah Storm, Jay Harris
Right.
over on ESPN, E60 coming to you right now. We're out. Myself, Elle Duncan, and Matt Barry. Matt, we had baseball in 3 hours ago.
Yeah, we were watching it.
Right, 4 a.m. Eastern. We're going to show you who had a monster Dodger debut.
You know, we got a bit of a tease in the first 2 rounds of the tournament, but the Sweet 16 can party.
They are feeling it. Welcome to SportsCenter on your Saturday with Matt Barry and Elle Duncan. We had baseball in 4 hours ago because, of course, it's baseball. We're going to show you who had a monster D-back debut.
Yeah, you know, we got a bit of a tease in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Some good games, not some great games, but the Sweet. Welcome back to SportsCenter. Relief pitchers are usually one of the more anonymous and underrated positions in all of sports. They can be the decisive factor in an MLB season, but they stay largely under the radar. Head down, do the job.
And that was really Danny Farquhar, an MLB journeyman whose career spanned from Toronto, Seattle, Tampa, and Chicago over 9 years, until he was suddenly thrust into the spotlight last April. As Michelle Steele explains in this SportsCenter featured, when his life and career took a turn that nobody saw coming.
Tech, Gonzaga.
I had the Zags winning that one.
I kind of like the Zags now all the way. My bracket's done.
Yeah, but that's because you picked who to win the national
I
championship?
take North Carolina.
Who's not in the national championship anymore?
North Carolina's been eliminated.
My people are still alive. I believe he roasted me. Way to go out on a limb and pick Duke. Well, I'm still in it for now.
I'll take the ball back. More SportsCenter, Jay and Hannah coming up next. Have a good weekend.
For now.
There's a lot that happened yesterday. There's a lot happening today. Elle Duncan and Matt Barry alongside for the next hour. No more LeBron in L.A. We'll get to that. Bryce Harper gets his first curtain call. And Tiger gets eliminated from the golf bracket. But today, the NCAA bracket, there's going to be 4 teams left.
Yep, 2 more teams punching their ticket.
And Jeremy Shepp and Lisa Salter is going to be on that program.
Yeah, so we're going to go enjoy the tournament for now. On ESPN2, Hannah Storm, Jay Harris with more. Jay Billis right off the top of the show.